All right, here is the video for lesson 10.03a, independent practice. Basically here we're going to work with polygons. Polygons are shapes, flat shapes that contain sides. Here is the example of many polygons, closed, flat shapes made out of sides. And what we're going to do is we're going to find out how many degrees, if you take all the angles inside the polygon and you add them up, you want to find out how much it will be. That's what it means, the sum of the interior angles. So you can see this is problem number 5. I'm going to start backwards here. I'm going to complete this table, which I put it here so you have a visual. Okay, let's start with the first polygon, triangle. How many sides do you have? Well, you have 3. 1, 2, and 3. That's why you see 3 here. Okay. And if you take all the angles, all the ones that I'm highlighting in red, if I take all those 3 angles and I add it up, how much I get? Well, there's a formula that will help you find really quick how much is all 3 angles together. And that's called, is this formula you see right up here, where the letter N is the number of sides. That's what the letter N means, okay? Now, this is basically using the calculator, so I'm going to do how many sides the triangle has, 3. So I'm going to do parentheses 3 minus 2 times 180. And you can see I get 180. So 3 angles inside of a triangle always at 180. Now we're going to go quadrilateral, 4-sided shape. Okay, so quadrilateral has 4 sides. And we're going to do the same thing. How much it will be all 4 angles inside the quadrilateral. Okay, so how many sides? 4. 4 minus 2, you can see it will be 360. Now we're going to go to the next one, pentagon. What is a pentagon? A 5-sided shape. So again, let's use the formula to find out how much it add up all 5 angles inside the pentagon. And look, I just replaced the N with 5 and I let the calculator do the rest once I type the formula. And you can see it's 540. Okay. The next one is hexagon. What does hexagon means? A 6-sided flat closed shape. So again, using the calculator, I'm going to replace the N with 6. 6 minus 2 times 180. You can see 720. You can see how quickly this is done with the calculator. Heptagon, 7-sided shape. Okay, so change that, replace the N with 7. And look what I got, 900. Okay. And let's keep going. Octagon, 8 sides. So change the N with 8. And look what I got, 1080. So this is how you do this. Okay, so let me do quickly the last 2. Nonagon means 9 sides, 1260. And decagon means 10 sides, which it will be, let me change the 9 for the 10, and you can see it's 1440. And this is how you do this problem number 5. We're using this formula to find out how much is all the angles inside the polygons when you add them together. Okay, let's go to the next problem. And for that, I'm going to go do problem number, let me see which one I'm going to do here now. Problem number 4. Now you can see we have a polygon, closed, flat shape. And they gave me how many degrees are most of the corners, which we also call it vertices. Now, if you count the sides, I'm going to start counting from here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is a 5-sided shape. And based on this table that I did with you before, a 5-sided shape, see, here is the 5. I'm going to highlight it in green. A 5-sided shape is called a pentagon. So this is a pentagon. And all 5 angles together should add up to 540. Now I have 4 of the 5 angles. So using my calculator, that's what I'm going to do here now. Okay, let me clear this off. I'm going to add the angles that I have. So I have, let me start with this corner, 70.94 plus, let me go with this corner, 139.1 plus, let me go to this corner, 120.6 plus, let me go to the last corner, 76.38. So if you notice, I added all 4 angles out of the 5. I know 4, I add them, and look what I got. And then I'm going to take my answer and I'm going to subtract it from 540. Why I'm going to subtract from 540? Because all 5 angles in a pentagon add up to 540. That is the reason. So now I'm going to do 540 minus my answer. Okay. And you can see what will be my answer. How much is going to be y? 132.98. Okay. Let's go to the next problem here. Here's problem number 2, very similar, okay? So I have a polygon, closed, flat shape with sides, okay? And I'm gonna count how many sides do I have. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I have 4 sides. A shape with 4 sides is called a quadrilateral, okay? What I highlighted in yellow, all right? And all 4 angles inside of the quadrilateral add up to 360. Okay. Now, if you look at the shape, I know 3 of the 4 angles. So we're going to do the following. Let me clear all of this up. I'm going to add the angles that I know. I know 3 out of 4. I'm going to start with this angle here. 68.34 plus the 90 degrees up here plus the 119.98. So I added the 3 of the 4 angles that I know. Okay, I know 3, I'm missing 1. Okay, so I add the ones that I know. Look what I got. And how do I find the missing one? Well, all 4 angles in a quadrilateral add up to 360. So I'm going to do 360 minus whatever I got from adding the 3 that I know, which is 278.32. So my answer will be 81.68. Okay, and that's how you do problem number 2. Let's go to the next one. In this problem, problem number 3, they didn't give you any picture, but they told you that all the angles inside the polygon, if they add them up, it's going to be 1,260. Okay, you can do this problem in 2 ways. One of the ways is you're going to take your calculator, okay, and basically I'm going to use this formula backwards. Let me make this bigger so you can see the formula. Okay, so I'm going to do this formula here backwards. So see that I'm subtracting 2 and multiplying by 180. When they want me to find the sides, how many sides the polygon has, I'm going to do this formula backwards. And what do I mean backwards? That I'm going to undo multiplying. So to find the number of sides, okay, that's what we're going to do here. Find the number of sides. You're going to have to do 2 steps. The first step is, okay, that you're going to divide by 180. And then the last step, step number 2, the opposite of subtracting, is to add 2 to your answer. And what do I mean with that? Well, look, what did this mean? They gave me a polygon that all the angles inside is 1,260. So my first step is I'm going to take 1,260. I'm going to divide it by 180. And you can see I got 7. See, that's the first step. That's this step right here. Let me change the color. I did the first step. Okay, I divided by 180. All right. And you can see in my calculator, I got 7. Now I'm going to do my second step. And what is my second step? I'm going to take my answer, which is 7, and I'm going to add 2. Okay. And look how much it will be. It will be this will be a 9-sided shape. Okay. Now, that's one way of doing this problem. Another way of doing this problem is if you remember this table and they ask you for a polygon that has 1260 degrees inside the polygon. So when you look at here at the degrees, how much is all the angles inside? You can see here that, look at 1260 right here. Okay, and that is a nonagon. And what is a nonagon? A shape, a closed flat shape with 9 sides. Okay, 2 ways of doing the same thing. All right, and that's how you do problem number 3. Okay, let's go to the next one. All right, and problem number 1, the last one of this assignment, here we're going to have to use algebra. Every time you see the x involved, okay, you're going to have to set up an equation. And the way I'm going to set up the equation first is to find out how many degrees is all the angles inside this polygon. First thing I need to do is find out how many sides I have. 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is a 4-sided shape. When you look at this table again, a 4-sided shape is called a quadrilateral. And that means that all 4 angles add up to 360. So knowing that fact, what I'm going to do now, let me take a screenshot of this. Okay. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to add all the angles inside this quadrilateral. Again, this is a 4-sided shape, and all interior angles add up to 180. Oh, I'm sorry, not 180, 360. Okay, so I'm going to take all of these angles and I'm going to add them up. Okay, that's what I'm going to do. But how do you add those angles? Well, first you add the x's with the x's. So what is 1x plus 3x? Oh, that will make 4x. And then you're going to add the numbers with the numbers. So the 81 with the 75. And that will be 156. Now I'm going to double check my math. Right now it's really early in the morning making this video. And my mind is a little tired. So 81 plus 75. Yes, 156. And all those angles together equal 360. Okay. And now we're going to solve for x. That's what we're going to do now. Solve for x. How? Like we did in quarter number 2. Okay. This is a 2-step equation. First thing, I want to do the opposite of adding 156. What is the opposite of adding 156? Oh, we're going to subtract 156. Okay, I'm going to do it on both sides. All right, and look what I have now. This 4x will drop. This, if you add it in the calculator, this is 0. I'm not going to write it. Equal, and then 360 minus 156. 360 minus 156. And you can see I got 204. And then the second step that I have to do to find out how much is x equal at the end is I want to get rid of multiplying by 4. How you get rid of multiplying by 4? Well, the opposite of multiplying is to divide by 4. Whatever you do in one side, you do it in the other. So you're going to get x, because these 4's are gone, x equal 204. So let me do it in my calculator. So 204 divided by 4. And you can see I got 51. Okay. Once you know how much is x, now you can find the angle Q and O, this one right here. Now, who's the middle letter here? You can see it's N. So that means we're in this corner. And look, the corner N is X. And how much is my X? 51. So this here will be 51 degrees. And the next angle is NOP. Who's the middle letter here? Oh, so we are right here in this corner. And it says 3x. So take your calculator, and 3x means 3 times whatever the x is, which is 51. And you can see that in the calculator, it's going to be 153 degrees. And this is how you do these problems of this lesson. I hope this helps.